Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, and King Dia. Is Lindsay Ellis really putting out another book? Really? Is Axiom's End not enough of a failure to satisfy her? Is she really going to make a follow-up to that thing? Like, is she really going to? Like, going by what I've seen online, yeah, she is. She is putting out a sequel to Axiom's End. I don't know exactly when it's coming out. I don't know what the plot's going to be. I don't know, like... I don't know exactly what they're going to do with this one, but if it's anything like the original, boy, I am not looking forward to this at all. Like I don't plan on reading it. Like the original, I think was enough for me. I might do it just to satiate my own curiosity. But generally speaking, like I'm not at all interested in like reading this thing. Like, from a purely personal standpoint, right? Like, maybe I would want to read it so I could, like, talk about it on the channel with you guys and sort of laugh at how, like, Lindsay hasn't learned from her mistakes. But, like, from a personal standpoint, like, as someone who loves books, right? Like, as someone who reads a lot, why would I ever want to read Lindsay Ellis's books? Like, there's nothing there. Like, there's no substance to them. There's no, there's no intrigue. There's no mystery, there's no drama. Like, it's all just weird, mid-aught, sort of SJW-ish, like, wish fulfillment fantasy, basically. Like, it's just about, like, some girl who meets an alien and has, like, a Twilight-style, like, relationship with it. Oh, man. Our romance is gonna change the world, man. It's just... It's bizarre in the way it presents itself, in the way it expresses itself. I thinking back to it, like it's hard to believe that it's only been about a year since the last one came out. The first one came out. I read that book, and like looking back on it, like I don't remember all that much about it besides how terrible it was. Like I remembering all like the weird dialogue choices. The characterization that was all over the place, like all the really amateurish mistakes from Lindsay that I don't think like even not even like some of the lesser authors I know of would have made. I think now's a really good time to sort of talk a little bit about what Lindsay Ellis, what her career has actually turned out to be, because her writing career has actually turned out to be, because I think a lot of people when they first heard she was getting had a book deal, well, we're thinking that like, oh man, she's become successful, she knows what she's doing, she's getting a book published, she must have really impressed an agent with her wit and talent. No, what actually happened is that Lindsay had a following online, a significant following online, due to her associations with that guy with the glasses and Doug Walker. It has nothing to do with any of the other stuff she did. Everything she's doing now is because of like how relevant she was 10 years ago. She got this book deal. She managed to like set up a publishing deal, and she got a book published. It had nothing to do with like her talent. It had nothing to do with her ability. It had nothing to do with like actually impressing people or actually putting in any effort in like the creative process or really. Like, Lindsay just knew the right people, right? She's a semi-celebrity who has a following online, a pseudo-celebrity, I guess you could call her. She's a pseudo-celebrity who has a significant following online that a publisher thought would translate into book sales. Now, the thing I've heard online is that like if Lindsay had actually utilized her platform effectively, if she had done what I do and like constantly talk about her books and like constantly talk about what she's doing, like what she's planning on doing next, her projects, like her ideas, like the book she's already written, like if she was like encouraging people to like go out and buy it, she might have had some success. But what happened is that like the book was published. It got onto like a rigged sales chart, so that the sales charts for New York Times bestsellers list are rigged. If you're not aware, which is true, by the way. There's nothing conspiratorial about that, theoretical about that, I should say. She got on a rigged bestsellers charts and immediately dropped off, like after a week, and it never recovered. Like the book didn't just do poorly; it completely bombed. Like I think there were a handful of people who were like really curious about like what the book actually was. People like me who picked it up and read it and were not encouraged by what we got. Like it was legitimately probably the single worst book I've read in a long, long time. I mean, to be fair, I have a pretty good eye for like spotting stuff that's like good or bad. I typically I'm very selective about what I read. Like I don't typically read shit unless there's like a reason for it. Like if I had to like read the Witcher books, for example, to talk about like the how the games did a poor adaptation of them, or how good the original story was, and things like that, to sort of refute the common praise that those terrible overrated AAA games get. I think Lindsay Ellis's book was worse than that. Like I thought it was just incredibly amateurish, like basic, simplistic, padded out nonsense. Just could not really stand on its own merits. Like if it wasn't for her already established career, she would never have even gotten an agent to look at it. I think like there's nothing interesting about it. There's nothing unique. There's no creativity. Like it's just her. Again, like I said, like living out her weird wish fulfillment fantasies of like owning George W. Bush on the ET question, like, are aliens real? How do people say that? Like, I despise like alien enthusiasts. I think they're like the absolute scum of the earth. But I don't know what like alien people actually believe that the government is covering up. They're not covering up shit. Like they can't cover up shit. They're so incompetent. They can't cover up anything. Like we all know what they're doing. But yeah. What was that getting at? Yeah. There was no creativity to the book. There was no intrigue. There was nothing of value to it. There was nothing that would encourage me to come back for a sequel. And she's still putting one out. Like my assumption, from what I understand, from what I've read online, is that like she had like she signed a book series deal with her publisher, who probably thought the book would do much better. What I think is going to happen is that she's going to fulfill her contractual obligations. She's going to put out like her 3 or 4 books or whatever. I imagine it's 4, but I could be wrong about that. I believe it's 4. She's going to put out her 4 books or whatever. They're going to bomb. Like, they're going to do worse than the original, like progressively worse and worse and worse. And the contract will end, and she will never publish another book. Like, she was not able to compete in this industry. She just doesn't have the talent. And she's 40 now. I don't see any hidden potential within her. I don't see like her like really rethinking what she's doing and really making radical major improvements. No, she's gonna keep what she's doing forever, because that's all she's ever known. Like she's gonna keep doing the YouTube thing because it's all she really knows how to do. Like that's what I think she's gonna do. Like until she burns out, essentially, which I think she's already in the progress of doing, if my understanding is correct. But yeah, I'll need to make another video about that. But when it comes to like the book career in general, it was over before it started. Like there was no future for her in this. There was no. She was never going to be successful. She was never going to compete with the real talent in the industry. She was never going to become a bestseller, like a real bestseller. She was never going to get like films adapted. Like she was never going to get the respect or attention she desperately craves. Like for her, it's basically over. Like for her, all she has left are like the extreme feminists who still like hang on to her every word. And those people, I think, will start dying off the next 10, 15 years as these beliefs start becoming more and more and more unpopular. She's going to continue alienating more and more people. She's going to get canceled again, I'm sure, because a lot of her views are indeed not progressive enough. We are going to see like lots of lots of low points for Lindsay Ellis in the future, and I'm kind of curious how this is all going to play out. But one thing is absolutely certain: Lindsay Ellis will never be successful in her writing career.